What do local homeowner associations, international idea exchanges, advertising scams, and 2020 have in common? The next episode of Consumer Compass. The Montgomery County Office of Consumer Protection is responsible for enforcing consumer protection laws that prohibit unfair and deceptive business practices to protect consumers, as well as help merchants compete in a level marketplace. One of OCP's main directives is to educate consumers, and that includes putting on seminars and forums.
The purpose of the forum is to give the community a report card of what we've been doing.
Meeting with local or foreign governments.
So they tell you if they have complaints or if a merchant is a member.
Getting the word out when a potential scam is happening.
It had a seal on here, and they assumed that this was some kind of official report issued by the county government telling them which businesses were safe to choose.
And appearing on local and national TV and radio. The national television show 2020 recently contacted the office to help with a segment on predatory towing.
Next.
Hello? Hey! Where's my car?
You're not going to take my car today. You're not.
2020, I was doing a story on predatory and aggressive towing nationwide.
True confessions from the man with the hook.
What is predatory towing?
Jim Avila of ABC 2020 was here to talk about predatory towing in general and what the tricks are and what the secrets are that consumers need to know about.
Modern trucks make a tow NASCAR quick. Watch this Maryland operator demonstrate how it's done. Gone in 60 seconds? How about 20?
Montgomery County comes up a lot because it's an active issue in Montgomery County, and our office has taken a big role with respect to predatory towing and aggressive towing practices in general, because it is a nationwide crisis, and our office has been in the forefront of trying to deal with that issue.
Can you move that truck for us? My name is Andrew Paparella, and I work for 2020 at ABC News. Montgomery County has a really active consumer affairs program, and so ABC News has worked with them in the past numerous times. We are here doing a story about towing, which generates a lot of consumer angst and complaints and problems. And we're here because it sounds like Montgomery County is actually getting a handle on this.
You know, we enforce our tow laws. It's 2-hour customer parking. Now, how do they know if you've been here over 2 hours? That's our leading complaint category in the office. I have a complaint out of here that someone got towed for being in 2 spaces, and I'm checking the signs to see whether, and, you know, obviously this says taking up 2 spaces, so that's technically a violation of the signs there. They could be towed, but the problem is state law changed as of October 1st, and signs now need to be 24 inches high by 30 inches wide, and these signs don't comply with the new state law. There's an argument, no, they shouldn't be towing people because they're not in compliance with the law. And we go out and, you know, I'm always doing investigations. She got towed from this end space here. I'm always making sure when we get complaints that the law is being followed.
Well, as I understand it, some of the problems are predatory towing or bandit tow trucks that, while they may have the letter of the law on their side, the spirit of the law is kind of being violated.
She got towed for being parked on the grass.
And so some of that behavior seems like it may border on the unscrupulous and you know, just kind of out of hand.
We're honored that a national television show with an audience of 20 million or more people would do a story that makes reference to the Office of Consumer Protection.
Just watch what ABC's Washington station, WJLA, caught on camera. Looks like a legal parking spot next to the DMV in Arlington, Virginia. But it's really a tow trap. A company using a spotter in a bait car, luring cars into a private lot so they can tow them away.
Hey!
Eric Friedman is director of the Montgomery County, Maryland Office of Consumer Protection.
A non-consensual tow is an extraordinary act that in any other context would be considered a theft.
His entire industry operates in a gray area of the law. He thinks of himself as a legal car thief, a ninja.
We're talking about towers that are hiding and wait for someone to make one little slip up, to walk across the street to mail the letter, walk across the street to get a cup of coffee, and then they swoop in.
But that's not illegal, right?
Well, it's not, but it's despicable. They're not really enforcing parking regulations as much as trying to make money. So we've turned our parking lots really into lucrative bounty hunting fishing holes for these towing firms. The laws have become very complex now. We have a state law, we have a county law, and it's difficult for legitimate towers to know how to comply with the laws. But the message for consumers is you've got to be very careful when you go into a shopping center and park. Don't think about what you're going to buy or how much it's going to cost. First and foremost, think about where you're parking and make sure it's 100% legal and you've checked every sign all around you. Well, it's a lot of lights and things to try and make a set in the middle of a parking lot, and it's a little nerve-wracking to know that it's not just your wife watching the show, but it's 20 million Americans who are looking at it, and but it's a good way to get the message out, and we're glad and very honored that we were able to be on network television.
Towing is a topic that affects homeowner associations. In fact, the Office of Consumer Protection offers information, assistance, and dispute resolution for HOAs through the Commission on Common Ownership Communities. We dropped in on its annual forum.
I'm Elizabeth Malloy, and I'm chair of the Commission on Common Owned Communities. Thank you for coming to our forum. I'd like to start by introducing a couple of guests we have. We have State Delegate Jim Gilchrist and County Council Member Phil Andrews. We'll be hearing from each of them in a little bit. First, I'd like to tell you briefly about the CCOC.
Now, for the record, the CCOC is a county agency created by the county council, which is supposed to advocate for the good health of all the county's homeowner and condominium associations and cooperatives. We calculate that at least a third of all the people who live in the county live in a common ownership community now, a condo, an HOA, a co-op. We register well over 1,000 different community associations in the county, and that does not include the city of Gaithersburg, which does not come under our law at this time. We have basically three functions. One is to educate the members of the communities on how to operate them and what their rights are. A second one is to advocate on their behalf at the legislature and with the county council. And the third one is to resolve the disputes between the members and their associations. Either a member can file a complaint against his association, or the association can file a complaint against its members.
Our statute directs the CCOC to educate homeowners and their boards. We also are to advise the county executive on pending legislation and act as a dispute resolution service when there's disputes that arise in homeowner situations.
The purpose of the forum is to give the community a report card of what we've been doing, tell them what we expect to do in the coming year, and then to provide a focus on a particular topic of interest to the associations. This year we focused on the theme of participation.
I serve on the Maryland Environmental Matters Committee in the Maryland House of Delegates. I serve on the subcommittee for housing. Last year we had a bill, it was a local bill, just for the county, and it concerned a condominium or homeowners association in Montgomery County where one of the owners wanted to farm in their front yard. But the homeowners association said, you are not allowed to farm in your front yard. So they came to us. We managed to get through last year without changing the law on that. It's still up to the homeowners association to figure that out. We're also looking at issues about licensing and registering managers of common ownership communities. We are looking at issues about when managers will have rights to access units when health and safety issues are on the line. Very difficult issue. But what we do try to do in the legislature is publish the bills, have hearings, hear from all interested parties so that the legislature can make its best judgment on how to proceed. And that's why groups like this, groups that represent homeowners, groups that represent management, are so important to the process, and they are active in Annapolis. They come down, they tell us what's happening in their communities and what they think is the best resolution to the problems.
Thank you, Jim. And we have the honor of representing a lot of the same area, Rockville City in particular. And I chair the Council's Public Safety Committee, which works closely with the Office of Consumer Protection, which works closely with the CCOC. So that's sort of my connection. Plus, I, like Jim, is I'm a former HOA board member and president of my association, so I know the perpetual issues that many of you deal with: parking, dues and arrears, architectural review, and bulk trash, at least in my community, was a big issue. So I thank you for your willingness to serve for free in almost all your cases, and to put up with grief now and then, because not all of your work is appreciated all the time by everyone. So thank you for doing that, and thanks to the Commission, who also volunteer their time to help in these important issues. Liz, thank you for chairing it this year and for your involvement in your own association. This is an important forum. Information is very important because there's a lot of turnover on boards and changing laws, as Delegate Gilchrist talked about, and just new issues that come up, especially in the last 3 years with the recession and the pressure that has put on HOA budgets because of people not making their dues. It's important to have a way for people to understand what their rights are, what the rules are, and how they can go about resolving them. And the CCOC does a great job in that.
This is going to be a very abbreviated example.
This year we did a mock hearing, an example of how a CCOC hearing might take place. It was really designed to show the common problems that come up, the problems that people get themselves into, and what the law on those problems is, and how different factors can affect the result of the hearing.
This hearing is open to the public. Parties to the proceedings have the right to present testimony and evidence under oath and to present oral arguments.
And requested not to reinstall shutters, and also had asked if she could install a white picket fence around the property.
We have a situation where she took something down without permission, she put something up with permission, and then the board wanted to change its mind on that permission that it had given her. And this is very typical because probably the most common architectural complaint we get is about people doing things without permission. They simply either forget or don't believe that everything they want to do to the exterior of their house or their lot is regulated, and they need permission for it.
The point is to give homeowners, condo owners, co-op owners, access to an adjudicatory process which allows them at minimal expense to argue cases.
Well, one thing I really learned today that's very, very important is if you're going to choose to be on a board, you need to know probably from cover to cover what is in the condo docs or the homeowners association documentation, because it's very important. You have people's lives in the balance.
It's important to understand that when you make changes to the exterior of your home, that you're affecting the property values of other people in the community, and that's one of the things that homeowners associations and the homeowners associations in particular are set up to do, to act in the best interests of the association, but also to protect property values ultimately.
One of the things we did at the forum, which was relevant to the whole hearing discussion, is to bring out our guide to the Commission's decisions, which would summarizes what the Commission has done in specific cases over the last 20 years of its existence. Now, if you have any questions about your rights or about what the CCOC does, you can go to our website, montgomerycountymd.gov/CCOC, where we have a lot of information available, including our new guide to their decisions. You can find Commission decisions organized by topic here, like swimming pools, patios, basketball courts, parking, elections, and so forth. Every decision the Commission's made up till now is going to be summarized in here and organized by topic, so you can find it easily. Or, if that doesn't answer your questions, send us an email at any time. The address is ccoc@montgomerycountymd.gov.
Hi, I'm Eric Friedman.
Coming up, join the OCP as it welcomes a Korean delegation to Montgomery County. And after that, a heads up about an advertising booklet that may be in your mailbox.
There was a day when the villain was easy to spot. These days are different. Late one night, Grandpa receives a phone call. A young man says, "Hi, Grandpa. It's me. Adam, is that you? You sound funny." "It must be the phone line, Grandpa. I'm out of the country, and I've run into some trouble. I was arrested for drunk driving, and I need bail money immediately." He explains that he's in jail, so he'll have to send the money to his traveling partner, Tim Lee, who's waiting for the money right now to bail him out. "Oh, and please don't tell Mom or Dad. They would be so disappointed in me." Grandpa, worried about his grandson Adam, sends the money. Adam never got any money, but Tim Lee, he got what he wanted. You work hard for your money. Don't let a few minutes with a scammer separate you from what's taken days, weeks, or even a lifetime to earn. Consumer Federation of America reminds you, before you send money, stop and check with someone you trust to confirm that your grandchild is truly in trouble. Crooks may also call or send emails posing as other relatives or friends who need your help, so verify any emergency situation. You can protect yourself from fraud. Learn how at consumerfed.org/fraud.
In today's economy, I check my credit annually. You can do it too for free. Under the law, it's guaranteed. Annualcreditreport.com, the one you can depend upon. Other sites may turn your head, they say they're free. Don't be misled. Once you're in their tangled web, they'll sell you something else instead. Annualcreditreport.com, the one you can depend upon. All the others charge a fee. Read the fine print and you'll see that's the harsh reality. I should know cause it happened to me. For truly free credit reports, there's only one authorized source. Annualcreditreport.com, the one you can depend upon.
Annualcreditreport.com, no hidden fees, absolutely free.
Welcome back. A Korean delegation visited Montgomery County this past summer to learn more about operating a consumer protection office in the United States.
Hello.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Eric Friedman. We had a delegation from the Korea Consumer Agency, which is their national consumer protection agency. It sounds like it's a combination of our Consumer Product Safety Commission and the Federal Trade Commission, all wrapped up in one. They have a huge building. They had a $28 million budget, over almost 300 employees. They do testing, lab testing, the same way we do at Consumer Product Safety Commission, and they do law enforcement, counseling. So it sounds like there's sort of a combined federal local agency that does many of the same things that we do at the consumer protection level in Montgomery County.
Here is our special gift to you.
Oh my goodness, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness. Well, we have a very hungry staff, so quick, that will disappear very quickly. Thank you so much. I'm going to try and use my best Korean to welcome them. Welcome and peace. But we're not really sure where the syllables break up here. Hashipignaga? Haship. Hashimninga. Hashi. Not so good.
I won't even.
We're a local government consumer protection office, so we handle complaints about most all kinds of purchases. House, cars, financial issues. We are a law enforcement agency. We are considered in the county government as part of the public safety sector. We enforce a consumer protection law. It's not a criminal statute, it's a civil statute, but it says you cannot misrepresent to consumers. You cannot make false statements.
It's very interesting, talking with Eric, who's been here almost more than 20 years, who knows the market, who has a full understanding of the, what's going on in the consumer protection in the marketplace,
We're going to bring investigator Jim Parks so that you can see what a real live consumer investigator looks like, and Jim can talk to them about the kinds of auto cases he handles. I thought it was important for them to meet one of our investigators, and especially Jim Parks, since he is special to our office in that he's a certified automotive technician. And I think they were impressed that we had on staff someone who knows the technical aspects of a car.
I worked for one manufacturer for 25 years.
And someone who worked for a manufacturer for 25 years, retired, and now is working in the Consumer Protection Office to help consumers. So I think that they were very impressed with that credential, as are we.
Once you can establish that something isn't working properly, it's not generally too difficult to figure out why it's not working properly.
그 퇴직 전문가가 이제 여기 오셔서 소비자를 위해서 이제 전문 분야에서 일하시는 부분이 인상적이었습니다.
I'm saying, he said, his meeting with, Jim Park is very impressive because he's an expert in the auto industry. He's been there 25 years, but then he retired to come to the, county office,
Retired.
So, yeah, working for the consumer,
Right.
So that is very impressive, yeah.
We have pretty easy access to information. I personally know enough people that if I need something at a very high level, I can generally get it.
They may go back to their agency and see if they can't recruit perhaps some retired automotive experts for their own use there.
So they're going to reimburse the consumer the money that he paid for the repair. The customer has to be informed, and the customer has to sign that he understands. Okay.
제일 중요한 거는 이제 소비자한테 정확하게 알리는 게 거기에 포커스가 있는.
Well, it was kind of fun to hear what you just said in English come out sounding pretty cool in Korean, and to know that what Jim sounded like coming out through the translator. And it was very nice to have a translator who didn't translate word for word, but took concepts and paragraphs and was able then to paraphrase it and explain it. And they, of course, spoke a fair amount of English and probably understood a whole lot more of what we were saying. And our struggle to say hello in Korean was pretty pathetic. So maybe we could hear a little bit about your organization?
Yeah, they actually have a prepared the brochure for the
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, that's
In their annual report, they had a picture of a lab where they test cars and inspect cars, and our investigator has to go into our parking lot and get on his knees and crawl under. So he was pretty impressed with what looked like the assets that they had at the federal level in Korea.
Do you have this entire building?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a job application?
Clearly they have a lot of impressive material that they've translated into English. They left us with an annual report and an understanding of their organization that's already been translated into charts and graphs in English. So it's very impressive in terms of their ability to help consumers in Korea and also to be aware of the world market. This is where the council will hold hearings and people testify. I learned that they have a very vibrant National Consumer Protection Office that certainly can afford to send delegations to foreign countries to gain and learn what you can when you network with other people.
I'm really impressed with the OCP is comprised of many experts in diverse fields.
So you sit there. You sit the council president. You're the leader here. You're the leader.
Vice President. We learn here that you have a very good law and regulation. You know that you have a long history basically, so you can protect the consumers' right. We are pretty new, and then we have a short history. So I think this opportunity is going to be great for us. To we can benchmark your experience in Korea.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And for our final segment, here's a booklet that has caused some confusion for consumers.
Did you receive one of these in the mail recently? Did you think it was a report issued by Montgomery County government or our office? Well, in fact, it's just an advertisement. But unfortunately, we have received calls from consumers who've been confused. They thought this was a report issued by our office. They didn't realize it's just an advertisement like the Yellow Pages or any other directory. They looked at this document and it said Montgomery County. It had a seal on here, and they assumed that this was some kind of official report issued by the county government telling them which businesses were safe to choose. But really, it's an advertisement from a company that publishes these all over the country in different communities. This one says Howard County, this one says Montgomery County, and you pay to be listed in this directory. Now, some of these merchants might be very good merchants, but consumers don't realize that they're paying and that there's a business relationship between the company that publishes this report and the merchants that are listed in here. And so they're fooled by that, and we don't think that's fair for consumers. We recommend that it's very important to do some work before you hire a company. We suggest that people use an organization like Checkbook Magazine. This is an organization that's a nonprofit. It doesn't allow for any kind of advertising, and merchants cannot pay to be in here or to be not in here, and they do independent research. This is not independent research of the kind that Checkbook Magazine does. In addition to Checkbook Magazine, we're of course all familiar with Consumer Reports, which is information about products and which products to buy. And again, consumers can contact our office, find out how many complaints we have against any merchant, and use that as information when selecting the best merchant to hire.
For more information on these topics, please go to montgomerycountymd.gov/consumer or call us at 240-777-3636.
There was a day when the villain was easy to spot. These days are different. One day, while shuffling through bills, John discovers something wonderful. A check for $3,000. I just won the International Lottery. I don't remember entering the International Lottery. He calls the lottery agent to verify the news. Hello? Hello? The lottery agent confirms John's good fortune. She tells John the process to claim his winnings is easy. International law requires a portion of the check to be wired back to the office immediately to pay the taxes on your winnings. After that, the rest of the prize money will be released to you. John deposits the check and then wires the money to the agent. John is happy. Too bad the lottery check wasn't real. Unfortunately, the money John wired was real. You work hard for your money. Don't let a few minutes with a scammer separate you from what's taken days, weeks, or even a lifetime to earn. Consumer Federation of America reminds you, you can't win a lottery that you've never entered. Winners pay taxes directly to the government. And remember, there is no legitimate reason why anyone who sends you money would ask you to send money anywhere in return. If that's the deal, it's a scam. You can protect yourself from fraud. Learn how at consumerfed.org/fake check scams.